We're doing this thing on Laker legends, and I'm wondering how you feel because you indeed are a Laker legend.
I don't. It's crazy, Jimmy. You know, when people call you a legend, I just don't see myself as a legend. I just see myself as a normal human being that had an unbelievable career playing here in the unbelievable purple and gold. You know, the best organization in all the sports. You know, so when I walk around town and I'm going places, I just don't see myself as that guy, that legend type guy. But I mean, it's an unbelievable compliment. I'm humbled by it, you know, by people saying that. But I still just think of myself as just, you know, Byron Scott, the little kid from Inglewood, California, that, you know, that made it good.
Yeah, you can think that if you want to, but we all know better. we know better than that. And it was crazy how you got here, and as Jerry West really orchestrated this whole thing.
Oh, it was wild. You know, Jerry West, you know, the logo, you know, my basketball dad, you know, he was one guy, you know, when a whole lot of people here in California that didn't know me, you know, took offense to that whole deal, that trade. And Jerry West, you know, he stuck his neck out, you know, for me and believed in me when nobody else would or nobody besides my family members, and took a chance, you know, on the kid that he saw at Arizona State. So, you know, I owe so much to Logo, and you know, I love him to death. And like I said, he's my basketball dad. Every decision I made after my career of playing, you know, when I went into coaching, every decision I made, I called the Logo to get advice. And I even called him, you know, just during the summertime just to talk to him. And he was just an unbelievable person. And, you know, he's somebody that will always be very near and dear to my heart. I love him to death.
Byron, during your playing career, what do you think is your greatest or was your greatest achievement?
Oh man, Jimmy, there's a few, you know, to be honest with you, but the greatest one was being able to get that monkey off our backs, and all the other Lakers before us when, you know, we went into Boston and you know, in '85 and beat them on the parquet floor to win our championship, my first one, and the first Laker team to ever beat the Celtics in a championship series. That to me is still one of the things that stick out the most about the career that I had in LA and the players that I played with, you know, the camaraderie we had, the love for each other we had. That's always the first thing that sticks out in my mind, you know. And it's funny because I was going to the airport the day before, and my dad, who was dropping me off at the airport, was like, "What do you think?" I said, "Oh, we're gonna win, and, you know, we're gonna go and, you know, beat them in Game 6 and come home." And he was just kind of like, "Oh, okay," you know. So when I came back home, he was like, "You were so, you know, you were just so matter of fact about it. You just said it with such confidence." I said, "That's because everybody on our team felt that way. We wasn't gonna get to a Game 7. So being able to go in there and beat them in the Garden, you know, on that parquet floor with all them little leprechauns running around talking all that smack, thinking they was gonna win, that was one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life in sports."
Speaking of talking smack, at the victory parade, at the celebration,
Oh man,
at the fabulous
yes,
forum in Inglewood, your
yes.
coach, Pat Riley, says, and I guarantee you next year, we're going to win it again. What went through
Yeah.
your mind?
I wanted to slap him, to be honest with you. I mean, I was like, "Man, are you out your damn mind? We can't even celebrate this one. You know, we just won, you know, in '85. We just won in '87, and we trying to celebrate and enjoy it. And this man gets up there and guarantees we're going to win it again." So my summer was gone, you know. But the one thing, you know, you got to give Rouse so much credit. You know, he knew how we were as a group. He knew that we needed, you know, that extra kick, and he knew we needed a challenge. And to be able to sit up there and say that, he knew that it was going to get on all our minds, and we were going to start getting prepared earlier than normal, and we were going to come to camp ready to go. So, you know, it was a brilliant strategy on his part. But at the time he said it, I swear, Jimmy, I wanted to smack him so bad, man. If I could, I would have smacked him like I smacked Michael Thompson around that time. But I couldn't do that to my coach. You know, I just couldn't do that.
Have a little bit too much respect for him. You know, Byron, I've heard players who come from other teams and have won championships. They say, yeah, it's great winning a championship someplace else, but when you win a championship with the Lakers, it's extra special. Why is it so extra special when the Lakers win a championship?
You know what, Jimmy? I think it all starts with Dr. Buss. You know, you had a very unique owner who truly cared about his players, who was an innovator. You know, he brought Showtime with the cheerleaders, you know, to the Forum. all the Hollywood big actors and actresses, they wanted to come and watch us play. He made it such an unbelievable atmosphere that players wanted to be a part of that. So when you came to the Lakers, when you came and you put that purple and gold on, it was just more special than any other place that you've been to. And I could say that being a player, with the Lakers and going to Indiana, and I loved playing in Indiana, it was great, but it's just nothing like being in that purple and gold and winning the championship in the city of Los Angeles. The fans here are the best in the world. And when you win a championship in LA, no matter where you go, people let you know that you're the champ. So it's just the greatest feeling in the world. But I think it really all started with Dr. Buss's vision, the way he treated people, his respect for the city, the respect for the players, and it's carried on ever since then. Jeannie has taken over and done an unbelievable job. And even LeBron, winning in Miami and winning in Cleveland, it's just a totally different atmosphere, totally different vibe when you win here in LA.
Because this city has a very special glow about it when the Lakers are winning.
And always will. I mean, it's not just the Lakers, but it's the Dodgers, it's, all our sports franchises here in LA. When you win here, it's almost like that old song when you go to New York, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. When you win in LA, you can win anywhere, but you won't be accepted the same way when you win here in LA. It's just a different vibe. It's a different atmosphere. And you just really enjoy it when you can do it in that purple and gold.
And then after your playing career was over, you took it a step further. You became a coach. Why become a coach?
I don't know, Jim. Pat Riley told me when I was 26 years old, I'm in my 5th year in the NBA, and something was going on. And he was like, he told me, he said, B, when you become a coach one day, you'll understand some of the things I have to go through. And I looked at him, I said, you crazy, Rouse. I ain't never coaching. I just didn't see that in me. But for some reason, Pat Riley saw that in me, that he felt, when I got done with my professional career on the court, he thought I would be a good coach. And, then to have Larry Brown, another Hall of Fame coach, say the same thing when I was playing in Indiana, that started to, have my mind thinking, I got 2 of the best coaches that ever played the game, 2 of the best coaches, and I've been so blessed to play for, say the same thing about me as far as becoming a coach. So I really started to look at the game a different way and wanted to become a coach. And luckily for me, spent 16 years in the NBA as an assistant and a head coach. And I just had a great time. I had 2 great mentors.
And one of the great things about your team is that, sure, you had your coach there to tell everybody what to do, but your team really kind of patrolled itself, because if someone got out of line, you made sure they got back in line in a hurry.
You know what? That was the best thing about our team. Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, as great as those guys were as basketball players, they wanted to be held accountable by their teammates and their coaching staff, and that's what was so great about us. So, Buck messed up, and I was like, hey, come on, Buck, and he would be like, you're right, B, you're right. So it made it so much easier for us because we never wanted to let each other down. I ended up finding out, later on, when Buck was getting on guys, I was the peacemaker. If you can believe that, I was the peacemaker. I was the one saying, come on, man, Buck getting on you for a reason. So it was great to play with a bunch of guys that didn't think they were above the law or didn't think they were better than anybody else. They understood that, listen, we're all in this for one reason. That's to try to win championships. And if we don't hold each other accountable, then we're not doing our jobs. And it went from the number 1 guy all the way to the number 12 guy, and that's what made our team so special.
And then you went on, as we talked about, to coach the Lakers, and then you became Kobe Bryant's coach. And I know there was a very special relationship between the two of you, because that was the last year for him. You coached Kobe in his last year as an NBA player.
Jim, it was special, man. I mean, being able to be with KB his rookie year and be his mentor, sitting on the bench with him and talking to him about the game and really going through practice and just telling him little nuances about the NBA and what to kind of expect and things that he could take advantage of and what people were going to try to do to him. And then to coach him in his last and final game, it was special to me. It was full circle. And the prophecy that I made his rookie year about telling people this kid is going to be unbelievable, he turned out to be even more than that. He's an icon. He's a legend, one of the greatest Lakers and one of the greatest players of all time to play in the NBA. And we did have a special bond. I mean, it was truly a love relationship and a lot of respect for one another. And, he trusted me as I did him. And I think that's what made it even more special.